record. Okay, what an annoying voice. Uh, and let me make you the host. Here we go.
Okay, great.
Voila, you are the host.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And do you just want me to go over a couple of things, or do you have any questions that you want to ask?
Why don't we start by just, not necessarily a 30,000 foot view, but how about a 300-foot view?
Yeah, yeah. So this system right here is designed to be 100% hands-free, okay? And what makes it 100% hands-free is where the information is coming in order to create the posts, right? So this, like if you wanted to have more control over the content in the front end, then what you could do is there's a couple of things where you would be able to say, put all of your post ideas. Maybe it's the ideas and then a summary in either a Google Docs worksheet or something like that, or an Airtable database. And then you would have it pull the information from the database to create the content. So that's a way to have more control, but this would just need to be modified in the front end. So you would need let me see here. You would need a
So this would be what you would do if you had a lot of your own content already, or if you had a client who had a lot of their content, right?
yes, yes, exactly.
Because that question came up a couple of times on the webinars.
Yeah, yeah. And then we've got the what was it, RSS.app or something like that. Yeah, yeah. So this is really the big thing right here is this RSS.app, right? Because you can create an RSS feed from, just anything. It'll generate RSS feeds from websites, from, Instagram or Twitter, Google News. You can do Google Alerts. You can do, so what it does is it creates this feed of content, and then it's that content that can go in here. Now, we have this set for Google Alerts because we know that, we try to make it as inexpensive as possible, right? So this is, if you sign up for this, then I think there's some credits that you have to kind of charge it with credits, and it uses the credits and you have to recharge it or something like that. So this is not a 100% paid service. You sign up and then you get some free credits, and then they're gonna, it's just limited basically. So we turned that into just a Google alert. And so with the Google Alert, it's 100% free. Okay, so let me go ahead really quickly and let's just say, let me pull up this. I'm going to go ahead and, okay, let's see. Okay. So with ChatGPT, let's just say that we want to, you want to sell this system to a client for whatever reason, but they're saying, oh, I've got my own content and, this and that, and I'm very specific about the content. So what we can do is, let me go ahead and pull up Snagit here because I'm going to show you a good trick. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take a screenshot of the automation. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop it into ChatGPT, and let's just say that we have a client. All right, so just say a client has their own content. And they've got it kind of all over the place is what I'm going to say, because typically they do. And I'm going to ask ChatGPT, how can we kind of modify this scenario, all right, really mostly on the front end so that we can pull that content in. All right, so I'm just going to kind of tell it that story. I'm going to go. So the first thing I'm going to do is, because ChatGPT is so, it's getting more and more sophisticated, just the straight up, 4 model, which is the general purpose model. And what it has the ability to do now is it has the ability to um, remember kind of who you are between all the conversations, okay? And so I'm going to, like, if I do this as me, it's going to think, oh, it's going to put it in its memory. Now she's working with clients, right? When I'm not really, I really don't want that to be part of the memory. So I'm just going to tell it, don't include this in the memory, okay? Don't update the memory with this info, okay, for demo purposes in a class. Okay, so I'm going to do that. So I'm going to say I have included a screenshot of a automation that basically content automatically. Okay, so then the content gets created. So I'm giving it the context. All right. Let's say I have a client I sold this but they have specific content needs. And they have content, but it's a bit all over the place. So I am thinking of gathering and organizing that content like in Airtable or a Google Sheet or Google Drive. How can we modify the front end to accommodate this client? Okay. It's telling us exactly what we need to do. So replace the Google Sheets, store content in a structured table. Okay, so it's telling us exactly what we need to do. So we've got to create columns for post type, content body. That's where the post is going to lead. So I would literally create a Google Sheet, and then I'd probably have like column A would be post type, column B would be content body, column C would be the image. Uh, Basically, you can, upload the image and provide a URL if there's any hashtags, anything like that. Okay, so it's thinking. ChatGPT has kind of had some issues today, by the way. It's just I've gotten a lot of notifications that uh, okay, please proceed. That's weird. That's really weird. Okay, so I'm gonna basically ask it the same thing. I'm gonna go ahead and go here. All right, so what I did is I just switched the model. For some reason, that model was not working, and you get a couple of them. This is actually a really good one, either this one or the mini high. This one you can still attach. Some of them you can't attach like photos and stuff or images. O3 you can. I don't think with O3 mini you can. I don't think so. But like this one, you can't do any searches, so it doesn't have internet access. So, but it has really advanced learning. So let's go ahead and I'll say that has content all over the place. And I want to, see what it says. Okay. See, you could tell this is advanced. So it's kind of going through this thought process and it's trying to, instead of just spitting out information, it actually thinks through and it's kind of going through, okay, she wants, she wants modification. I can do this, I can do that. So it's going to kind of try to talk through itself. I think we might be able to see the reasoning. I'm not sure. Here's a few ideas. So this is create a front-end intake step, option A. So it says a web form, Google Sheets or Airtable. Okay, a custom web app, incorporate approval workflows. So let's just say we want to go with option B. So I'm going to go ahead and just copy this. Okay. See, this one's working fine, but the other one wasn't. Uh, So it's given us several options. You can see this first one didn't give us any options really. So this one has given us, from very technical, you can create a web form and web hook to Google Sheets, or it's saying even if you wanted to create a custom app. So it is not making a judgment call to say, are you a technical person? Are you not a technical person? It's just saying these are the options. Okay, so you have to kind of look at these options and let's just say, oh, yeah, there's no way I'm going to do this, but this is very doable. So what I would do is I would say, I'm not. Okay, so this is actually a nice, elegant solution. So it says, it's giving me everything. Set up your data capture on the front end. Now it's saying create the spreadsheet. Or you can create a Google form that's linked to the spreadsheet if you just want the client to feed it to you. So it's given us a couple of options. And then what we need to do is we need to take that Google Sheet and we need to basically modify the scenario. So I'm just going to go through again and I'm going to say, so it's walking through and it's trying to come up with, how do I help her the best, basically. Okay, so it's literally going through everything. So part one, set up your Google Sheet. It's giving us the titles. And then part two, start your scenario and make. and then create the new scenario. All right, so let's see. Add the Google Sheets. Hmm. Sometimes you have to work with ChatGPT a little bit. Um, Okay. Because it's saying, and you have to kind of read what it's saying. Just don't take it. We were talking about this yesterday. Just don't take it for like, oh, it's the gospel. Okay. Because it might have misunderstood. I might not have given it the information as clearly as possible. So let me be clear. Sometimes I do caps lock to make sure it knows. And then I'm just going to go ahead and just drop in, whoops. I'm going to drop in the image again just to make sure. So this is kind of training it. Probably I'm being a little bit nitpicky, but I don't, I'm tired of messing with it basically. So I'm going to say to what we're probably going to get to where exactly what we need to do here. Okay, now let's get into it. All right, so you can actually get ChatGPT to tell you exactly what you need to do. So in your screenshot, the first module is the RSS feed. Your plan is to replace that with Google Sheets. This is exactly what we want. So now I know that it's saying, so it's telling me remove the RSS module. Okay, so you can disconnect. All right, so you can go ahead and you can, what I did is I right clicked. I right in here. All right, I right clicked and I'm going to temporarily unlink it. All right. And you can kind of keep this here, right? And then what we want to do is we can go ahead and we can do a new module. And then just like it said here, this new module, so remove or disable the RSS module. That's exactly what I did. And then insert a Google Sheets Watch Rows module. So that's exactly what I would do here is I right clicked and it said add a module. And then if I just click in here, then I can do a search and do Google Sheets. Okay, and then it's going to be Google Sheets. And if I click on that, it's going to give me a couple of different options. All right, for different. So this one is watch rows. Okay, so I would click that. And then I have to make my connection. I have to do the spreadsheet ID. So I'd have to go and like create the Google spreadsheet, all of that type of stuff. But it literally walks you through. Okay, then when I'm done doing that, I can make the connection like that. Okay, and then this is kind of how you'd modify it. And then say you don't need this anymore, you can delete it or whatever. Okay, so that's kind of how you would modify it and go through the process of having ChatGPT help you modify it. Okay, and then what I do, if I'm running into any problems, is screenshotting is like your best friend. And then if I'm not sure of how I need to set all of this, I will literally take a screenshot of the inside of the module and I'll say, what do I need to put here? What do I need to put here? What do I need to put here? And it'll tell you, what you need to do, what you need to put there. Okay, so that's a couple of things that I do. Let me go ahead and I'm going to disconnect this now. I'm going to delete this one. So I right clicked on it and I'm going to delete it. I don't need it. I'm going to put this one back. There we go. So I'm going to put that one back. All right. A couple things like if you're building these for clients, we kind of went through in the class. All you got to do is you've got the JSON file for this. So you're going to click on these three dots down here and import it. And when you import it, it's just going to suck it in. So it's going to look just like this. All right. Then all you have to do is configure it. We've got the user guide for you. What I like to do when I'm building these, and like I get this first module done, then what I'll do is I'll right click and I'll run the module only. All right. So each step of the way, I don't wait till I get all the way here and then I run it all to see if there's any errors. I like to see if there's any errors one at a time. So I'll run this module only. Let me see if I can break this and see. Yeah. Okay. Let's do this. I'm going to put this just in here just so I have a placeholder for it. Okay. Okay. From now on, okay, so it's saying failed to refresh metadata, bad request. All right, so I would hit save. Okay, and then I'm going to try to run this module only. I should get, see, I'm going to get an error here. Okay, so it's a bad request because I broke it basically. And so what you want to do when you get an error, okay, so you're going to have a little like thing here that says, oh, it's an error. And usually when that happens is you can go down here at the bottom and you see this where it says logs. It's like it's got it's a box with three little tiny check marks and then like little lines right next to the check marks. And that's your logs. Okay. And then you can kind of see that it failed. All right. And then you've got the 400 error, which is a bad request. So we've got that. All right. And then so literally what I would do is, sorry, I would go up here and I would either copy and paste this or just take a screenshot of it and say, I got this error. What does it mean? Okay. Now when let me go ahead and pop this back in so we can run it again. And I'm going to show you what should happen. Okay. Let's get rid of this. Okay. Save. Okay, save, and then I'm going to run it. Okay. Okay, choose where to start from now on. Okay, save, there we go. Okay, so it ran and you see it's got this little one there. All right, that means it was successful. So I configure this, I run it, I get a little one, and then that tells me that this is all good to go. Then I go to the next one. And I'm either going to get an error, or I'm going to get a number one. And if that works, then I can go on and, do the rest of them basically. That's how I do it. And that way, you're not left with you're all the way to the end and you might have gotten an error from somewhere and then you have to trace it back. It's much easier to do it one at a time. Okay, so there's that. Let me see what else. Oh yeah. So okay, that's not going to be anything there. Output bundles. Okay, so let's do this. I'm going to, let's see what this one does here. Okay, so this part is very important. You've got this is the prompt, okay, that's basically telling, so this is like an OpenAI module, and it's basically telling like what to do with the RSS feed data that came in. Okay, and you can see when I hover over this one is kind of like it's, expanding and contracting, expanding and contracting. All right. When you're doing these are already mapped. All right. So you want to keep these the way they are. All right. Now, if we are to take this, so say you want to go ahead and you want to modify this. Okay. You want to modify this. You're not an AI tools expert. You're, social media marketing, video, pay-per-click, whatever that is. So let's just say that you want to modify it. I'm going to copy it back in here because I want you to see when we paste it. All right. There's this that says it has two brackets and then it has the number 1 and then a dot and the source. All right. This, you want to keep this like this. You don't want to delete this because this, when you put it inside of make, it turns into this. Okay, so I can say something like, I need to modify this prompt. So let's just say that. Okay. Okay, I'm going to tell it specifically keep the data source intact. Okay, and then so there we go. Okay, you see how it kept that data source right there, right? So you can copy this. Okay, and if we were to put this in here, there we go. I have the source right there. Okay, so that's a little bit about how. So if I run this one, I have to save it. Let me see. Is this the PP? Yeah. Sorry, this just, I don't know why. Okay, so yeah, yeah, so I didn't save it. So let's just run this module because okay, and you can kind of see, I want to show you something that you're going to get with these modules that are the OpenAI modules. Okay, this is what we wanted to see. All right, so what it did is you can see this is called input. That means this is what went into from here, and then the output is what this is spitting out. Okay, so you can go ahead and expand it, and sometimes it's nested. So this is what it was provided. And if we look in this output, okay, so now this is what this produced basically. Okay, so it produced this information. So it came out in the output bundle. Okay, so these are just all of the information. You can kind of expand it and you can kind of see, what that information is basically. So that's empty. Yeah, and so we've got it there. And then also you've got the input bundle, which is this is just in JSON code. So it's basically the prompt in the JSON code. So this is what it was fed. And then the output bundle is the output in JSON code. Okay, so it's like this is, yes, certainly here's a summary, it's kind of, it goes like on and on, it's kind of like on and on like that. Okay, so that's a couple of things, and you can see now I've got the one, so this one ran okay, this one ran okay, and then now I can go on. All this does is it splits it. Okay, so we kind of have like this line which goes to X, this line which goes to LinkedIn, this line which goes to Facebook, and then this line which goes to Instagram. Okay, so I think we had a question. Did we have a question? You can unmute your mic. Oh, great, Chuck. Glad that's that's a big help for you. So yeah. All right, so that's pretty much how it works. Okay, now you can modify these as well. You don't have to post directly. This is using Buffer. so you could, bypass the social media and use a social media posting tool if you wanted to as well. So when you're doing this, the important things in all of these green ChatGPT modules are, and we talked about this in the master class, where you want to make sure that the prompts match. Okay, like if you have a client and the client is whatever, HVAC, or they're, a business coach, or doing, a CPA, attorney, whatever, you want to make sure that you copy this and then you give ChatGPT the information and basically say, I want to take this prompt and modify it for my client who is whatever they are. And it'll do exactly what it did. Just like, I said, I'm a PPC expert. I want to modify this prompt, and so that's kind of how you do it. But that's where you're going to be spending a little bit of your work. And especially if you're doing this for clients, you definitely want to test the output. Like what I would do is I would probably have like a throwaway account, like you could do multiple Instagram accounts, or, a Facebook page, something like that, to where you can test what the content's going to look like once it's posted and the quality. Say you're doing this for a client. What I would do is I would, upload this and I would name it, the client's name, social media machine, or whatever. But I would test it by putting my throwaway Instagram account here. All right. That way they're not going to, if my prompts are not working as they should, the output is not good because of the prompts or the image, we don't like the image or something like that, then the client's not going to see it until it's completely ready. And so you can test it on like a throwaway account of your own. No one's going to see it. It's not going to have any followers. You're not trying to, get any views or anything. It's just like a throwaway test account. All right, that's what I would do. That way you can kind of test the output to see what is it going to look like on a social media platform. What is the image going to look like? All of that type of stuff. All right. And then like say you want to test Facebook, just throw the prompt, from here to here and then test it to see, what it would be. It's just going to, get it's just going to get put onto Instagram, but it would be, designed for Facebook. That's how I would test it. All right. And then you are going to want to test it and make sure that the images are sufficient quality for your client, all of that stuff. The posts are sufficient quality, the source. We kind of talked about all that in the master class. So any questions, guys, on any of this? Hopefully this is helpful for you.
I'm not seeing any myself.
Okay.
Let us know, guys, if you have questions. Now's the time.
Yep. Any questions or comments or wondering about something or anything about this automation, a strategy of, anything?
The whole goal is to make sure that you don't have stumbling blocks.
That's right. Yeah, yeah. So pretty much everything, like the big thing is the data sources, because if if they're not mapped, then, you would have to remap them. It's not hard to do, but, why do it if you don't have to, right? You can see this. Now, this data is coming from this module over here. All right, so another way, let me see, another way to map. Okay, let me show you a little bit bigger here. And I just rolled my mouse. I can make it small, I can make it big. I can move this around, I can move this here. I can move this, so, I can kind of design it any way that I want to make it make sense and stuff like that. But right, so I'm just like rolling my mouse and I can expand it and make it really big. But you're going to see these numbers right next to these modules. Okay, and so when we looked, see, this is module 1. All right, and then this is module 36. So I think what happened is that this is 3. You would think this should be why is this 3 and why is this 36? Whenever you delete them, like if I was to delete this module and then get a brand new one, it would now be 37. Okay, but so you can see like for the mappings as well, we saw that it was one, it was like bracket, one dot choices or something like that. Yes, source. Okay, this is telling us that number 1, that it's coming from module 1. Okay, so if I go over here, and this doesn't really do anything other than route. It's like a traffic, like a traffic cop that's saying go this way, go that way, basically. So it splits it. But if I go here, like let's just click on this. All right. You can see that it's not only is it like expanding and contracting, but you see the 36 choices. All right. So that's exactly what it is. So now if I click in here, now I get to see all the data for everything beforehand. So you can, I can just kind of go here and I can remap that. That's not a problem, basically. I could do that if I wanted to, but it's a little bit of a pain. You just kind of drag and drop it, but it's a little bit of a pain. It's just easier. It's already in here. All right. But so you can see this is mapped to over here. And then if we look at, let's see what else. Okay. So now this is module 4. All right. So this data is coming from this right here. Okay. So that way it might help with some of the mapping and stuff like that. All right. So I think that is about kind of like the things that I wish I would have known, but I had to, I had to figure it out by hours and hours and pulling my hair and stuff like that. But this way you guys don't have to do that, basically. Um, Okay, any other questions or anything? Oh, I see what happened is this is 5, 6, 7. So I think this must have got done after. I don't know. Any questions or comments? You guys want to see anything else or know about anything else?
Not seeing anything. So, folks, this has been recorded. Give me a little time. It will be up in the members area later on today. And as usual, if you're looking at the recording but you weren't on here live, or even if you were on here live and you got a question, reach out to us via support. The support link is in all members areas, and we want to see you succeed with this. We do have a new question as I was saying all that. Hang on a minute.
Yeah, yeah.
How would you run this through a social posting software?
Yeah, so the social posting software, you got to make sure that it's available. Like this is done through Buffer, and so we couldn't for X. API access to X is $200 a month, where all of these are for free, but it's $200 a month. So we had to bypass that and use Buffer. But this is a social media posting module inside of make.com. So let's just say, and you don't have to use Buffer. If you, let's see if some of the others are in here. Let's just see if Social Pilot. Okay, we got Social Bee is one. We've got Hootsuite. We've got HubSpot CRM in here. So there's a bunch of different ones. And the first thing that you have to do is make sure that it allows, it allows it. And then once you have it, you can kind of see that all you've got to do is, oh, because we don't have an account in here. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. So you just kind of add the module and then you go ahead and then you do the mappings is pretty much how you would do it. Okay, so, and again, it depends on the one, like this is an error. I'm wondering, it says this access token's been suspended. It could be that I used all the credits, as would be my guess, is that I used all the free buffer credits or something like that. But literally what I would do is, and you have to do it for each one. You can't just do a central one, because this is specifically for LinkedIn. So you'd have to do four. Let's say you use Buffer. You'd have to do four Buffer modules here. This one would post to X, this one would do for LinkedIn, and then this one would be Facebook and Instagram. Same thing if you use Hootsuite or whatever, it would be the same thing. And literally that's what I would do. So let's just say we wanted to do Hootsuite. That was our social media one. Okay, so it would probably be I think it's schedule a message. See, this one it has a lot of stuff. Yeah, this is where I would be going to ChatGPT to say, okay, my client uses Hootsuite or I use Hootsuite or whatever. I think it's not get a social profile, but I think it's more like schedule a message. Yep, yep, yep. So it would be schedule a message basically. So we go here and then you'd have to create the connection, which means I'd have to have signed up for Hootsuite on the other side. And then I just give my login credentials. And then when I did that, like I did over here, then I would go ahead and, yeah, kind of weird. Then I would go ahead and, basically fill everything out. And if I had any problems or questions, I would literally take a screenshot of this, the whole thing, and go to ChatGPT and say, okay, here's my scenario. It's the same thing. Here's my scenario. And then here is, I want to use Buffer or whatever social media for all of these. um, how do I, what goes in each one of these? And then it will literally walk you through. For the profiles, this is what you need to put. For the text, this is what you need to put. For publications, select this. It tells you literally everything. All right. And I go through, if it misses something, I'll take a screenshot and I'll put a big red arrow. What about this? For example. And then so it'll go ahead and what about, all of the settings basically. And so that's how you would want to do it. You'd be surprised at how good ChatGPT is at helping you configure these. I mean, literally, I turned my Dariel, one of my VAs, loose on this. And then I just basically said, you use ChatGPT. I pay for a plus plan for you. Use ChatGPT to figure it out. That's what I would do basically. So yeah, let's delete this since we don't need it. Okay, any other questions or anything, guys?
Well, again, it's been recorded. It'll be in the members area. If you got a question afterward, or if you're watching the replay and got a question, please let us know.
Yep.
We'll be more than happy to help you. We want to see you succeed in this. This is truly powerful stuff.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, because it's interesting, and we kind of talked about this ad nauseum, but just really quickly, where the content marketing game has completely changed because of AI. I was reading something very interesting about, it used to people were like, "Oh my God, they're not gonna like AI content." That's not true at all, right? And then all of this stuff there. AI SEO is a thing, right? It's a big
Yep.
thing actually, because Google is losing market share for search to the basically the Chat GPTs of the world and the different AI platforms. And so having your clients and you on, posting like this, what it does is it adds trust signals because remember, we're not just a single channel environment anymore because of AI. We're kind of multi-channel. It's kind of all seeing, all knowing, and it can see across a broad spectrum. And then it'll gather those trust signals from all of this stuff. Okay, so that's going to help with like a client's GBP listing and their ranking and stuff like that. This type of stuff helps because it gives signals that, oh, these guys are legit. They're posting all over the place, that type of thing, basically. So it is really a new world in terms of content. But yeah, if you guys have any issues, just hit us up in support. And the best thing to do is when you're hitting us up for support is if you can take a screenshot or a video of exactly the problem that you're having, so that we know. Because if it's kind of just general, I can't get this configured, then we have to go through, we have to respond and say, well, what part of it? And then you tell us, oh, it's the module 36. Okay, what part of module 36 are you having problems with? What does the error message look like? All of that type of stuff, right? So if you can, it'd be helpful to just be as explicit as possible if you run into an issue, and then we'll get right on it and then make sure we can get it fixed for you as quickly as possible.
How about it, Chuck? Cool beans, huh? So,
Yeehaw!
really,
Very cool beans. The coolest of beans.
there you
Yes.
go. Glad
Yes.
you enjoyed it, everybody else. So, Gloria,
Yeah.
awesome information. This is incredible, incredibly powerful. But folks, there, as they say, they used to say in like cheesy copywriting letters, that you would see on TV and stuff like that. But wait, there's more.
Yeah.
Now we got some amazing stuff coming down the pipe, mind blowing on the level of this. So, but you'll hear about it very soon. Thank you so much, Gloria. Awesome stuff, and we will see y'all very soon.
Yep. See ya. All right. Bye-bye. Go ahead. Here we go. Kind of